This podcast is brought to you by Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products from over 400 top brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearms parts, shooting gear, apparel, and more. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service, backed by fast shipping and an expert support team. Primary Arms, serving freedom since 2008. Find out more at frn.deals/PA. Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Garth Over.
Good evening, fellas.
And Tyler Brockle.
Doctor.
You concur?
I concur.
I think we're old enough to understand that. I don't know about everybody else.
You know, that's fine. There's some jokes I make purely for my own entertainment, as my wife and child can attest to.
We're getting to the point where we can't cite early 2000s movies and show references anymore.
No.
We really have to be selective on the crowd.
No, I will always talk in movie quotes. And actually, I had to do that this weekend. I quoted some black sheep at a dart tournament.
Yeah.
Because I threw a 7. Yeah, it was awesome. It was like 7 miles an hour. And most of the time when I pull people over, they pull over to the shoulder, not the median. And I pointed right at this kid, and he looks at me and goes, "The hell are you talking about?" And his dad looks at him and he's like, oh no. I'm like, "Did you get it?" He's, "Oh, I totally got it." I'm like, Thank you, Dad." But the kid had no idea. I was like, "Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's too bad."
You old son.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to the best of us.
Yep. Oh, well.
What do you do?
Keep quoting. Educate
Fair enough.
Kids about what good movies are.
Yeah.
So I know you threw in a dart tournament, Garth. Did you do anything else fun and specifically with guns this weekend?
No, man.
Or in the last week?
No, I haven't done anything with guns, and I'm kind of sad about it. I was just actually looking on Matador Arms site because they said they were going to have that sale, and I don't know if I missed it or not because the price looks the same now.
Well, they had talked about having one over the weekend.
I know, and it's not the weekend anymore.
Yes.
So I might have missed it. Dang it.
Yes, that was for their muzzle brakes and things like that. But you were otherwise detained.
Yeah, I was detained and did not have any fun in the gun world. So I was definitely aiming down range, but not with firearms.
Yes, that will happen. Every now and then one might have a hobby outside of the firearms world.
Yeah. You gotta enjoy it.
Blasphemy. Heretic.
I said every now and then. Like families and things.
Yeah.
You guys do anything fun?
Tyler, did you get anything fun done?
I had an all-expense-paid trip to lovely Fort Stewart, Georgia, where I took the opportunity to stop in at the Palmetto State Armory store, which was pretty bitchin'. They got a really, really nice store, really nice setup. They had a range in there. I didn't partake in the shooting range because I was too busy looking at everything else because I had to get it all in before my flight took off. But awesome store from PSA. I really wish there were more of those around that I could go to. And I ended up picking up Sig Juliet 5 magnifier. Just gonna try it out. I had a G33 3X back in the day. Wasn't a huge fan, but this one is, 2 times more magnification. It seems to be a little bit smaller, so I'm gonna give it a shot for 3-gun this summer. See how I like it.
Very cool.
Yeah,
right on. Yeah, it seems like they only have. I guess they've got around 10 of them, but they're all in, strangely enough, South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina.
That's quite a bit of stores, though.
Yeah, but they are based out of the Palmetto State.
That makes sense. We need them and Yingling beer to get to the Midwest.
Well, Yingling allegedly is here.
Allegedly, I've been hearing that for years now.
Yeah,
I've not seen it yet.
There's a few stores that could migrate north, and then we'd be all right.
What about yourself, Dooley? Any gun stuff?
Oh, yeah, we had a pretty good time yesterday. Well, I shouldn't say yesterday. My weekend was rather full. I taught a class on Saturday, so I had 14 shooters that came through and did that. Did some horse trading while we were there, and picked up another handgun, and so that's always fun.
Are you doing the whole gun a month thing? Did you officially enter in on that or not?
No, but I mean,
there's a few of us that are doing it, and by default, just because we've ended up with a gun a month so far, we're just gonna continue it. So we got like 10 days yet in March to find something.
Well, you say this like you don't know me.
Well, I get that.
But no, I did that, and that was a pretty solid deal. And when we were running with that, then there was nothing too fancy, but little 38 special double action only revolver.
Oh yeah, that guy. You told me about that.
And I have the brother to it, if you will. That's but this one's double action only, so it just doesn't have the hammer spur. And so did that. Then yesterday we got to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I missed out on that. It's okay.
Some friend of ours called us up and said, "Hey, we're going to be doing this, and or we're going to be doing a little shooting and getting some family that has been exposed but isn't really like super knowledgeable on firearms.
Okay.
A little bit more involved, and asked if we could come out, and it's like, okay, yep. So the wife and I headed out there and loaded up some, just a handful of guns, and we took the Trigger Interactive system out there because we were going to be working with some cops as well. And we set it up, and we're actually running a 5-target array across a full 25-meter range at 15 meters. And had new shooters shooting that. And then, we broke out the full auto Tommy gun and the UMP-40. And
who had those?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Fair enough. I was going to say, I don't remember you having any of those.
No, I know people. Like, I have cool toys. What?
It's good to know people.
I have cool toys. I know some other people who have also cooler access
toys.
To also cool toys. And with all that said, like, UMP-40, although also trash, absolute hot garbage. Because UMP. And that, but Tommy gun, this was a authentic U.S. Army issued Tommy gun.
So was it stick or drum?
So this is a fun fact about Tommy guns. If it was a government issued or owned Tommy gun, they will only take stick mags.
Really?
The civilian variants were the only ones that took drum mags, but they would also take the stick. The reason for that is because the magazine on a Tommy gun or a Thompson submachine gun that was
Yeah.
the drum was like a watch spring. So you would take the cover off and wind it and then load rounds into it as you wound it up to get everything in place. And then it would have to like ratchet itself around as it fired.
Doesn't seem very appealing in a time of war.
Oh, yeah, way quicker to just be like chink,
Yeah.
chunk,
Yeah.
chunk,
Oh yeah.
and just load stick mags.
Yep, that makes sense.
And plus, you didn't get that many more rounds with the drum.
Oh, what was the sticks were like 35 or 40 or something like that? Or were they 30 rounds?
Like there were 30 rounds. I remember in the drum mags, most of the drum mags were only 50, and then they
Yeah.
went up to 100. And it was like the 100-round ones were prone to jamming because, again, clock spring.
Yeah, so
Right.
not as cool as the movies always portray them to be.
Yeah. I mean, they do fire from the open bolt, which is awesome, but it really throws people off because it's like, hey, this action's open. Yeah, it's going to go bang when you pull the trigger. That's even when they're on semi-auto because it just, okay, semi-auto, bang, and leaves the action open because it catches on the sear.
That'd been cool. Oh, well.
Now, all of that, my Motco 9, like, there's a couple people there who, like, yeah, Tommy gun was cool. Can I shoot that thing again? Like, one of them, a ute, if you will, like a teenage male, was all in on that little bill that I have.
Did he get the timing down so it actually?
No, he just wanted to shoot it in semi-auto.
Oh, really?
Like, was just standing there blasting targets, like ting ting ting. This is awesome, and it's because it shoots like a laser beam, and when you're standing there running a sub gun suppressed, with a red dot and just doing transitions back and forth across steel, you feel pretty cool.
I get it.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and of course it's always great to get new shooters involved and to get them to have that bug bite them.
It helps when you bring out full autos the first time they get to go shooting. So
they'd been out before, but
yeah, they got the dually treatment though.
They'd been out before. It's hey, we're gonna bring out all the cool toys.
There's something different than going out with a friggin' lever action 22 versus a full auto 45.
Yes, there is. There's a large difference in. But learning the fundamentals and stuff like that. Like they'd gone out and shot a bolt action 17 and done those types of things.
Okay.
And they'd shot handguns a little bit, but then it wasn't that they came from an anti-gun family or anything. It was just, as one of our dear friends said, well, two of us here have devoted a large part of our life to this. And that was more talking about people at the range, so.
Yeah.
But no, that was a blast. And after we got done with that, we talked about a couple things, we had on the show, and that really got me thinking, because it's okay, hey, it's Sunday, we're done with this, and we'd gone out and done some cool guy stuff, and we've talked about like, oh yeah, man, we just got back from this class. We're always excited because everybody gets excited because you pack up and get ready to go to a class and you have the gear and then you talk about it. But you know what we never really talk about?
I have an idea.
Like maintenance. We talk about reliability and, like, hey, this gun just runs forever. Or, yeah, man, that thing was great. I beat the shit out of it. And then I just like threw some lube on it. It kept running. We say things like that, which, yes, that is important to know those things, but there is also a little bit of just like, oh, I have to do maintenance, like on my carry gun, because I want to make sure that it's reliable and serviceable, and I can do all of the things I need to with that gun. So the basic
Eventually,
maintenance. What's that?
eventually, you throw enough carbon and sand in something. It doesn't matter how good it is; it's still a mechanical system. So take care of your shit.
Yeah, every now and then, we do need to clean these things. But and we talk about maintenance. It's not just like weapons maintenance, but sometimes, one of the big things that one of the main reasons why the UMP sucks so much, it had a bad mag.
Yeah.
And knowing your gear, and then like, oh no, what am I going to do with that? What should we do with this mag? And I was like, how about we just buy a new mag spring for it? You think you can get one of those? I'm fairly positive I can.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, a lot of effort goes into cleaning your weapon, but you rarely think about the mechanical issue of like tightening stuff back down after you're out shooting. I don't know how many times you guys went out to the range and went shooting and then got back, and the next time you go out, you're off zero because things get a little loose after you put so many rounds downrange.
Oh yeah, ever since I bought a nice torque, one of those portable Real Avid torque wrenches. I have been checking it like crazy, and actually, I just got in a Fix-It Sticks kit, and it had the variable torque limiter on it, where you just turn it and the lines match up to what torque you want.
Nice.
So I've been using that quite a bit, and that's even more handy because, yeah, it's all in one. And so I've been, especially the red dots on my pistols seem to be the worst. I think they take way more of a beating, obviously, than any rifle or AR mounted optic. But even then, I still hit those, and I do it periodically. And now I'm doing a lot more because it's just so convenient between the Real Avid wrench and the Fix-It Stick stuff.
Yep. Well, that's like I had a prism optic come loose on me, and it was the same thing where like I was shooting these dime sized groups and just doing awesome with it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why is this off? And I go to like touch it and it wobbles. And I go,
Yeah.
oh, that would be why. And it had it for quite a while, and it's I'm gonna throw this one up here. And yes, Thomas, we actually did a show with them.
Yep.
And
we all have them now.
We do.
We do.
Yes, I have used mine so much that I had to get a replacement because I broke it.
I actually haven't used mine yet. I have it, but thanks to Dooley, I finally got all my my kit stuff in my basement finally after going to class that we all took. So I guess it's better time, than ever to maybe take that apart and clean that gun. So maybe I'll use it.
Yep. So we talked about this. It's like torquing things down. So that's outside of the gun. When you start working on those things, one of the big things that always happens, and I know Tyler, you and I visited a little bit about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So lubricating your gun is important. Like it is. I run a little drier than most, probably. Mainly because of like some of my experiences.
Yeah.
And it was, they would come by with a Windex bottle or a squirt bottle and just pull your rifle out, and they'd be like, oh, you got lube? No, I could use just a little bit. Okay. And they just shoot like a
money shot right in the chamber.
Yep, all over the bolt, and then like the next shot you get, you have your glasses on, and your whole face, like, is just
Coyote
covered.
Looney Tune type shit. Yeah.
It's you're just like gun oil bukkake.
Yes, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I'll take
we'll
that.
Have T-shirts made.
But so you have this all over, and you're going, all right. So I elected to not do that. at home and just, I run things dry or I run with a little bit of grease. But
Well,
more
I
than
mean, that's just a ridiculous amount. It's so like the army back in the day, just they taught you so much bad shit. Because I remember when I first got in, it was you take metal tools and you just scrape every single little bit of carbon off. And most of the time, people were scraping off the finishes and the coatings,
Mm-hmm.
and you would put the stuff away completely dry because they'd stick their finger in the star chamber, and if there was anything that came out, and it was just all around bad. And now, like, I still clean it really well, right? But even if it's a part that doesn't necessarily see a lot of wear, I still put a little bit of oil on it, a little bit, just to protect from rust, corrosion. Um, yeah, you can apply it strategically, and of course, there are certain points that get more lubrication than others.
yes, because guns have two enemies in life, and that is rust and politicians.
Politicians.
Do you guys ever use solvent traps ever?
Solvent traps.
Yeah.
No, I have an SOT, so I just run silencers.
Yeah,
But
I
solvent traps, as they were designed, um, were used for cleaning the bore out, and you'd push crap out into like a. The first one I ever saw was actually from like Midway, and it was a Coke bottle. Like you just put a plastic pop bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd put the end of your barrel up there, and you'd push whatever oil and stuff that came out of your barrel. But so that is actually something we should do with this, is we have this straight stream of consciousness about how to maintain your guns. When we talk about cleaning guns and all of these things, like I clean guns to maintain reliability.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I am not saying that you need to like, oh, we got to do this clean and go through and completely scrub and use bore scrubber and get all this stuff out of your barrel.
It's good to every once in a while, though.
But you're not
Never.
saying you're gonna take down to the firing pin and
Oh
yeah.
no, that I clean all of the like action components,
Yeah.
like my bolt carrier and all that gets taken
If you
down and
can see
cleaned.
it, or you can take it out without taking the gun completely apart, kind of thing.
But I generally won't clean my barrel, like legitimately like go through and do anything major to my barrel at anything more than or under 1,000 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think most guns, and it's different for every single gun, right? Like you can have the lowest quality gun as long as you properly maintain it continuously. Most of the time, you're not going to have any issues. Where some of these higher end brands are really shining is when you're getting up there in the couple to several thousand rounds in austere environments that they keep running. That's where their good name really comes from.
And
Well,
that depends on the round you use as well.
True. Yes.
my other main thing for like one of my main things for not doing like a true bore scrub. Like I've been known to drop a bore snake or like an Otis, run something through just quick to give it a quick.
Mhm.
Okay, we're still, you know, we're not crowding the bore,
Yeah.
but just one quick, run a ripcord through it, call it a day. Now, the reason why I don't actually has to do with accuracy.
Go
Why?
on.
Just because you're worried about taking down too much material over time, or what?
No,
Or
so
rifling.
what?
Does it do to rifling?
No, it's because of all of the imperfections in metal. Because no matter how good the rifling actually is,
Mm-hmm.
your barrel is actually most accurate when it gets a little dirty,
Okay.
and not right away with a bright, shiny, clean bore. So you'll see people that will do a barrel break in, and then okay, they run it, and they run their patches through and everything like that. And then it's just okay. You just want to make sure nothing's obstructing it and everything's there. And then you keep shooting the barrel, like clean the action. and keep everything running, but you don't really clean the barrel until you start seeing degradation in accuracy.
Really?
Hmm.
Because that, like that gun I used for the school we went to, I would definitely consider that the break-in point for that rifle. I mean, I shot it for competition, and maybe like I said, ran a snake through it once, but it hasn't been thoroughly cleaned yet. So I would probably consider that it. Although I didn't see any major complications from variations of aim.
Yeah. Well, and that comes more from the precision rifle side of the game. Like when you're doing long range, like out to a mile plus, that's
Oh,
those guys
so
get
nothing with an
really.
AR then.
Mhm. So I'm sorry. Are you saying just during the break-in period you don't clean, or you just don't clean it the barrel that often in general?
That often in general. Like during the break-in period, you'll clean it, like you'll run patches through and all that right away.
Yeah.
And then after that, once you maintain a solid or start getting a solid group in, I won't clean my barrel until I start seeing degradation in accuracy.
Yeah. See, I'm just kind of paranoid because I've seen enough copper fouling build up in barrels before that it actually bulges the barrel. And then no matter how often you clean it, you're fucked because you have a barrel bulge, and that's going to highly degrade your accuracy. So that's where I'm kind of leery on that statement. But I've seen a lot of there were some contracts where there
But
were
and those are ultra high round count.
yes and no. Yeah.
Like I'm saying,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. But I
like
mean, at some point, if you don't clean the barrel that often,
yeah,
if you do have copper fouling, just keep in mind that bulging the barrel, because now you have material built up in the barrel, you're trying to force the
yeah,
same
and
size bullet through, and that will physically, like cause your barrel to bulge out
that's
in a
again why I
particular.
say, like I said, I will clean it like every 1,000 rounds, but then I'll also pull the ripcord through every 50 to 100.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, but I
And
thought you were saying like
no,
go
I'm not saying
thousands of rounds. Okay.
no, I'm saying like every 1,000 rounds, I give everything a good shakedown.
Yeah.
But like I went out and shot, so we shot 100 rounds suppressed. I come back, pull out the bolt carrier, wipe everything down, get the gunk off that
Right.
extra carbon that's back, and go, okay, yep, back into the gun, and we're ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I was going to answer. So Steve asked thoughts on ultrasonic cleaners.
love them.
Absolutely love them. I have the Hornady version, the one that you can drop an entire 16-inch AR upper in. I think when I bought it, retailed around for $600. Phenomenal. Now I do have to say, so when I first got into ARs, I had that ingrained. It was ingrained from the army that every time you shot, you'd come back and that gun would have to be absolutely pristine before it went back into the freaking gun safe. And I honestly, I'd go out, I shoot 50 to 100 rounds, I'd clean the sucker 100%. And as I started to acquire more and more, it got really tiring, right? And so what I do now is guns that I use quite heavily, I'll clean more often. But for the most part, Garth, you said it best earlier, was with spring cleaning. So, and it's actually more like the winter. So when it's just balls ass -10 outside and I'm
Yeah.
not going to be shooting anytime soon, I will literally just like go in on a Saturday and just spring clean every single gun, run it through the sonic cleaner, get all the carbon off, let it dry out really well, re-oil and reassemble. And it's been working pretty well for me.
But I mean, there are guys that do that though. I mean, that will go out and shoot your 50, 100 rounds. I mean, a lot of military guys, like you said, do that. But I know a lot of hunters though. Every time they go out and they're in the elements for whatever 5, 6 hours, they'll thoroughly go through their gun, even if they didn't shoot it,
Yeah.
and they'll throw it back in the safe. So
Well, and there's a difference between wiping it down to prevent rust, or like going through for that because you got rained on.
mm,
Because I've had that happen where it's like, oh, I'm getting rained on. Like this rifle got rained on. We'll give it a blast with like a wipe down with an oily rig,
Hmm.
just to get a thin coat of oil on it so that it doesn't rust.
yeah,
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I don't go, okay, yep, time to go through everything because, oh no, it got a little wet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I,
it depends on the usage. Like if I take a AR to a 3 gun, like that one we did in Pier last September, there was quite a bit of dust, especially when we were like shooting on like the barricade and stuff. So I ended up wiping the whole gun down after that. But, realistically, I think I put less than 100 rounds through it that day. So it
Yeah.
didn't necessarily need a deep clean. But yeah, a good wipe down and a little bit of re-oil was just fine.
so the other thing is just like words of advice to people cleaning at home or going through. If you're looking at this or you just got an AR and you're wondering what parts to clean, it's going to be your bolt, like the actual bolt, not like wipe down the bolt carrier group, clean the bolt, and then get an Otis bone tool or something to help get carbon off of that. Like there's a handful of different ones. I've got 3 or 4 different random tools that are made for carbon scrapers for an AR bolt. And then you wipe the firing pin off, and then the charging handle, and then I just take a piece of old T-shirt and run my hand to get everything cleaned up inside. Because again, I'm not doing an inspection to get this back into a military vault. But then you actually don't need a ton of oil on an AR.
No, and you don't want a ton because the oil not only does it lube the gun, but it will also
Trap.
collect dust and crap and a bunch of other shit. So if you're just soaking that thing and then you're running it through the dirt, you're probably going to have more problems than if you just had a nice light coat.
My favorite thing to use for lubrication on them actually is, I'm not even sure. I have to do some Google fool here while I am seeing if it is still actually made.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm using the exact wrong oils on everything, but I just go to the local gun shop and see the hops number 9 and grab that off the shelf. That's usually what I clean the entire gun with.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple enough. And Q-tips. I love Q-tips, man. Q-tips in a gun are so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't even bother. They got the nice fancy long wood ones.
no,
I
I
don't
just
even
use regular
bother with them.
Q-tips.
I just get the 1,000 Q-tips for $3 or whatever at Walmart. Those suffice. And you can still
Absolutely.
bend them and get them around in those hard to reach places. And
Yep.
Well, I have no idea if these are still actually available or not. Purely because I don't know if the company that made them is still I know that the company that originally made it is no longer a company,
Well, you share the screen for the tens and tens of us watching.
but I'm gonna, because this is an old Wix page, but on Amazon, this is actually my favorite. Of course, it's not available anymore, but my absolute favorite gun lube ever is
The suspense is killing me.
Slipstream. And I will use the weapon or the grease more so than the lube.
Never heard of it.
yeah,
So it is a dry lubricant at half a micron in size.
okay,
So the whole thing about them was it came from the automotive. Well, the guy who did it said like, "Oh, this is stuff they used in NASA, and it's similar to the grease that they would use like on rings and NASCAR engines, like ultra high performance, where it has that little bit of a dry lube that fills in those. Like even if you've polished everything, there's still a little bit of machining, like,
sure,
and it will fill that stuff in with that like Teflon-y type material,
mm-hmm.
and I've had really good luck with it, and I really, really like it. But
Yeah. I've been a big fan of the hops lubricating oil, but where the
Yep.
one with the super fine precision steel tip, about I think they're $7 at like, sporting goods stores. Because there's a lot of stuff out there I see like where they're like a squirt bottle or
Yep.
like a
Yeah.
squeeze bottle, and it's very hard. I mean, when you're cleaning it, sure, but if you're just trying to accurately put oil in key places so it's not giving you the oil bukkake when you shoot the gun, that is definitely the way to go.
That's why I like the aerosol can mode of them the best. I mean, if you're looking for accuracy.
Yeah, yeah, you're a South Dakota hunter. Everybody's got to have a can of Rem oil.
You bet.
Yeah, you
I mean,
spray that shit.
I've only made the mistake once of using WD-40, and I told that to one of the old timers, and he came uncorked on me. It was hilarious.
What were you just showing there, Dooley?
So I'm trying to get this out so I can. This is a, so you can see it's a little brush
Yeah.
that is a first line CLP like pen,
Yeah.
and you put it in. It has a pump at the bottom, so you can actually fill it up to, as it's going in different angles, it will still come out, but just a little bit at a time.
That's fancy. What is that?
It's just a synthetic CLP, and it's
The pen. Where did you get the pen?
from First Line.
First line. Sorry, I missed that.
Yep. There you go. If anybody wants to see, it's First Line synthetic CLP gun oil.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay. So confused as to whether to use one CLP or to go with 3 of my oldie goldies for each task. Well, Ed 303, I can tell you that the military's answer is you're going to use CLP because it's cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. And much like a Chevy El Camino, it's a car and a pickup, and it's not really good at either one.
It's like that. It's like Head and Shoulders body wash, conditioner, and shampoo, right? Like, don't get me wrong, you're gonna get your hair clean, but each one isn't as good if it was applied individually. And I think the Hops and all those other companies would agree. But I'm the bore cleaners, the cleaners, they're going to be a lot more effective when it's a cleaner and not a cleaner and a lubricant. But at the same time, I've cleaned weapons with straight CLP, and it works. It gets her done. But obviously, being able to use something dedicated for the specific task is going to work better.
I've also cleaned weapons with Simple Green.
Wait, is that the fucking mop shit?
Yes, it is.
That is?
Yeah. Actually, some of the commercial, like ultrasonic cleaners, will have you dump Simple Green into the hopper because it has a degreaser.
Really?
Yeah. So ultrasonics, we'll go back to them a little bit. Just for one thing, there's some commercial ultrasonic cleaners that I really, really like, and they're super expensive, and that's probably why I like them. But they have 2 separate tanks in them that are heated, and you can run bigger stuff through them. But they'll run takes everything down, so you have the one that cleans it, and then you pull it out of the cleaner, which is distilled water and Simple Green or something like that, and you spray everything down like with an air hose to dry it and get rid of all the water off of it, and then you drop it on the other side, and it's a super low viscosity, so thin like oil. and then it ultrasonics that oil where you get all the carbon out of the pores of the metal. This puts oil into all the pores of the metal.
It's slick. I've just been doing it by hand.
Oh yeah, and we seem to have lost Garth.
Oh, my bad, guys.
Oh,
I'm here still. I just I was looking something else up for us. Are we still going to do the now that's getting nice out? I mean, we still have to do the. I feel like we have to do the KY versus the regular gun oil because I still want to see which one lasts longer.
oh yes, because I do have a. I did receive a Secret Santa gift of a commercial a commercial sized bottle of Astroglide. And
Don't act like it wasn't already in your closet.
no, this wasn't. Like I didn't know it came in this size. Like I think the next size up is 55-gallon drum.
Yeah.
And
now we just got to decide whose gun's going to get destroyed.
I mean, we can use one of mine. But no, so when you're going through that, the action components are obviously the most important things to try and keep clean. And we also said we were going to do something else, Garth, when we talked this about this show coming up that we failed to do.
Yeah.
Before we jumped into the topic.
Yeah.
We were going to bring back our training tips.
We were going to do that.
And I have something to look at for anybody who wants to go out and train. Like if you're just going if you are new in shooting. Oh. There we go.
A steam cleaning wand. That's something I've never seen.
I have seen that before. Up at Camp Ripley, they
Really?
have. Yeah, they use it for doing like big guns.
Yeah.
When I say guns, I mean things that are actually called a gun, not like
an individual weapon.
Yeah. So. But as I keep.
Oh no!
No, we lost him.
He's gone.
Oh.
Oh.
But yeah, I highly recommend the Sonic Cleaner. Best freaking buy I've ever done. If you guys watch like PSA or Brownells, they go on sale every once in a while. It makes your life so much easier. But one thing that like surprised me with them was, everybody says, oh, you put it in here and you can just kind of wipe it off. That's not really the case. If you have, carbon buildup on like inside a bolt carrier group, you still got to get in there and use a bone tool and scrape it off a little bit. But for the surface carbon, dust, oil remnants, like it wipes away so nicely. So I can't remember. Do you have one of those Hornady too, Garth?
No, I have a small Sonic cleaner that I've actually never used because I got it for Christmas like 8 years ago, and it's the size of a ball cap, and so I can't really get any like AR pieces in there. It's more meant for a pistol.
Yeah,
and I need to invest in one. I don't actually. I've been thinking about one because you and Dooley talk so highly of them, but it's just something I have not invested in myself personally yet.
Yeah, they are super handy. And
Steve just said a new one at Harbor Freight just released, 30-minute runtime and 180 degrees for $160. Now, obviously, I will caution you guys. The Sonic Cleaner, if you have any, like I've seen it happen, particularly with like Cerakoted guns. If you happen to have like some Cerakoting that's chipping off, or any type of coating that might be chipping off, I've seen it where the liquid actually get underneath, and it can kind of actually take off the coating. And I think that kind of depends on how long you leave it in for, the temperature that you put it at, how much cleaner you put in there. But I've heard of that happening. I have not had that issue, but then again, my Hornady is more of a consumer grade one. There are some pretty balls to the wall sonic cleaners out there that you can buy.
There really are. And well, again, the ultrasonics from Harbor Freight, they have one that might not be able to fit a whole upper end, but you could definitely drop all of like the action components in.
Yeah.
It's a 2.5 liter, and I mean it would definitely take a bolt. So let me.
Either way, it's a huge time saver. Huge time saver.
Yes, very much so. But as I was talking about before, my computer decided to shit the bed and shut off. Because here's this one. This is a $90 ultrasonic for doing all these things, and that's about, like they said, 10 inches across.
So big enough for pull the part upper.
Well, pistols, and you're not going to drop
Yeah.
your barrel in there.
Obviously.
But no, I was going to tell you guys about a new app as well that you can look out that is handy. It is called the Range Buddy app.
What's it
Now
do?
we don't. What's that?
What does it do?
So
So
many good.
it's got drills by category, and right now it's set up mainly for handgun, but you can incorporate a lot of this for rifle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Beginner, intermediate, advanced, and movement drills, and depending upon what targets you're using, IDPA, USPSA, B8 targets, printable targets, homemade targets, like law enforcement guides, all of that. It is just a free drill book on your phone. It's available for both Android and Apple iOS or OSs.
And one of the best parts is you can enter your times in and compete with whoever is using the Range Buddy app.
Yep, I know I sent both you guys a link to it.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Oh, I already have it downloaded. It's a great app.
Yeah, it's one of those if you're ever struggling for just something to do with the range, because if you sometimes might not want to think that hard before you go shooting, it's just an easy way to come up with another drill on the fly.
Yeah, if you're one of those guys that doesn't have a little creativity and imagination, this app will completely do it for you. All you got to do is bring cardboard, paper, or steel.
Yep, and the handy thing is they have drills for like paper plates.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And they do have part-time. Some of them do, some of them don't. I mean, really, it doesn't have to be all about timed events. It can be just about going out and reloading, dropping a round down range, and then grabbing another mag and slamming it home and put another round down range, just for anything simple as that.
Yeah, and they give a in-depth explanation of some drills you may have heard before.
Yes.
Like they talk about the bill drill and things of that nature. And just some of them are, do it the index card drill. It's a 5x5. You throw a 3x5 index card up on the target, and you keep shooting it, 5 rounds, and do it until you can keep all 5 rounds on that in under 5 seconds, and then you do it 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a really good way to do that and get a grip on, some of your fundamentals and what you're doing for training. And those grips are almost as good as VZ grips. VZ grips are great because they're made from a solid block of G10. And G10 is great because it's durable. It doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme. Color options are also available, as well as a shorty version. 1911 grips, Beretta grips, CZ grips. All of these are available with standard and slim palm swells, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. You can even get revolver grips there. So more than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. This coupon code is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that code is AR-15 pod.
Very nice.
Did you like that seamless transition?
It was so damn smooth. I'm speechless.
Yes. So, no, those are all. So we were talking about the drills we were doing and getting out and shooting. We were talking about our spring cleaning. What do you guys do for sites?
As far as cleaning sites or maintenance
Yeah.
on sites, I
Because-
actually like those site pens they have with the brush and the pad on them.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of those pens. They're only like $10. I've got probably 5 or 6 of them stashed around different bags, and one I think I might even have one on my pickup, just because it's just a fantastic, tool to have.
Yep, I have these nifty little like optic cloths everywhere. I have a couple of those pens as well, and I really like those pens. I've also been known to just use a t-shirt.
Yeah. I actually have a compressed air, for like cleaning your keyboard and shit. I keep that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll normally blast out, because even those cloths, you can't get in there necessarily with your finger. The pens are good too. I got those, but the compressed air is a really handy thing to have, especially too, going back to the sonic cleaner. If you gotta, blast out some nooks and crannies after it's been in the cleaner, it works really well for that too.
Yep, and that is handy. That's just one of those other things. I'm trying to think of anything else that's kind of indicative. Oh, how often do you clean your buffer and buffer spring?
Not as often as I should. 100%.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it when I do the deep cleaning.
Yeah, like maybe once a year.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Tyler's going, yeah, maybe.
I do it a little more often than that, but yeah, it's not seeing most of my guns, because I'm, running the piston, I'm not seeing as much carbon getting back into the actual gun. So, but I still like to wipe it down just wipe it every once in a while too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But well, guys, do we have anything else that we want to add tonight on maintenance? Because really, it's just like, tear down that bolt, get that good and clean, run a swath through the through the barrel every 100 rounds or so. Don't stop in the middle of a competition to do it, but
don't do that.
Right.
Or something like that. But
I don't know. My parting thoughts would be, with this last year, we've had a lot of different companies on the show: Fix It Sticks, Otis, companies like that, AR Takedown Tool. Prior to this year, I had I'll call it a gunsmith tool set, which was just I had a cheap, like $15 plastic toolbox from Walmart with all my stuff in it, but with random tools from like Lowe's and whatnot. But this year I've started getting, I've got the Fix It Sticks, the Takedown Tool. I mentioned some of the Real Avid stuff. Having these dedicated tools are not only great for cleaning, but the general maintenance, and it makes building guns, maintaining guns, moving optics, and all the modular shit that you do to the AR platform really, really easy. And they're really not that expensive, especially if you just kind of start acquiring one here and there, 20 to $80 here and there. You can build up yourself a really nice arsenal of tools, and you're pretty much going to have them the rest of your life. So I highly recommend going that route, because I've been doing that over the last year, and it's paid off big time for me.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback what Tyler said. I mean, there's a certain point of owning firearms is great, but training and maintenance of that firearm is crucial in owning. And I think you need to be well versed in everything as far as how you train and what you train on and how you take care of your weapons. I mean, there's no point in spending a whole bunch of money on guns out there if you're not going to take care of them. And so, maintenance is a recommended deal. So,
Oh yeah, and I agree. Like I know I was one to kind of push for doing maintenance tonight, and we have all repeatedly said that like I abuse my guns and beat the hell out of them,
you do.
but
Sorry.
I also still like do the maintenance on them and maintain them and keep them up.
Yeah.
It's I am hard on them, but I still also like do my due diligence to maintain them in working order. It's just I don't care how pretty they look.
No, like
Right.
I said, a gun is a tool, and you want to take care of your tools.
Exactly.
And you want to use it, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're not sitting here like saying, clean your gun every time, keep it in the safe. Well, you want to do the right thing, but at the same time, don't make it a safe queen. Get out there, train with it, use it, abuse it, but make sure you properly care for it so that when you go out there and use it and abuse it, that it's actually going to function the way it's supposed
Yeah.
to function for the amount of time that you need it to function.
Use it
Exactly.
enough so when your friends come over and they look in your safe, they go, "Hey, how much are you going to sell me that for?" No, can't do that. Beat them up enough so they're not pretty enough to sell.
Yep. Which I mean that's really easy for me.
Yeah,
But
I've
it's
seen you do demonstrations. Clear gun. Oh, this? Huh, there it is.
yep. Well, and like we're talking about being able to use a gun through stuff. We were about 200 rounds in through our class, and they were doing some stuff where they were, well, we might have been a little bit longer than 200 rounds in. And they were using the shot timer, and I was running a suppressed gun. So I was like, oh, I'll just pull my can off quick
Mm.
and quickly turned my rifle into a bolt action because it was so carboned up that if I didn't keep the can on it, it didn't want to run anymore.
Well, yeah, I was using steel, and I learned the hard way that was not a good option to do with a class like that. So,
Well, it is. You just got to run a lot of lube.
well,
And
I had
that's where you get gun
after
oil
the after
bukkake.
after I was scrounging my range bag for brass, I did realize I had lubrication, but I just didn't use any. So,
Yep, he went in dry, folks.
Not very
Yep.
gentlemanly of you.
I know.
And there are a ton of different companies and a ton of different things out there to like what lube's the best lube. And I mean we've proven that Crisco works.
We just haven't proven if KY is the best or not.
Not yet, but we will.
I mean, do you guys remember that the Fire Clean scandal?
No.
Yeah. So for anyone who wasn't like super deep into the AR world, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. There was Fire Clean was a brand of oil, and they came out and it was, oh, Fire Clean's amazing, and they got a ton of media attention. I think the company owner was a like a Navy SEAL or something like that, and did the whole thing. Well, they went through and someone, I don't remember who, but somebody said this shit's just Crisco. Like they read the label on it, and it was a repackaged oil, and there was a big lawsuit about it. And oh yeah, Thomas Leith just said it was 2015.
Yep.
So, and no, when we did that, it was a nonstop. Like guys literally poured it into frying pans and made eggs with it.
Really?
They did a taste test, and one of the labs was like, "Yeah, it is a vegetable oil, Like it was.
That's all right. Let's add it to the list then. Let's.
Oh, that one's already been done. Like Crisco runs, Forgotten Weapons ran a gun with Crisco, and it was like a full auto M16 burn down.
Oh yeah, we don't have that kind of stuff. So,
and it worked astonishingly well.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I've also used the Lucas gun oil. I think that's what I carry in my range bag for like I need something quick.
Mm.
And you know what else I carry in case I need something quick?
What's that?
Predator armor. Do you want to keep you and your loved ones safe in these uncertain times? Are you looking for a full kit setup or just to upgrade what you already have? Then you need to look at Predator armor. Quality American-made armor and accessories, not some cheap junk from across the Pacific. From lightweight, flexible backpack armor to full plate carriers plates, IFAKs filled to suit your needs, Predator armor has it all. Use code AR-15-10 for 10% off.
Yeah, that Lucas gun oil, I've been doing some searching on it while we talk here. It's generally, I'm seeing it as the highest rated online at the moment. Hops, and there's like a mil spec oil up there as well.
Rand,
I'm
probably.
What's that?
Probably Rand.
That might be it, yeah. But I'm running the hops right now personally. I think really all that matters, as long as it's a synthetic oil, tends to be the best.
Yes.
Yeah. So as long as it's synthetic, it tends to last a little bit longer. But
yep, and that's what I run on all of mine as well. And yeah. Well, so Tyler, you've kind of given your parting thoughts. Garth, do you have any parting thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Yep. Again, I reached over to find this, and I completely bypassed, the 5 other different lubes and, grease and stuff like that I have sitting on my bench because, well, I've just amassed a lot of it over the years. And I have stuff where I'm like, nope, this is absolute crap. I have one that I use because it's, like they go, oh, it's all natural. I like it because it smells like oranges. And it works really good at as a degreaser.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, this one's kind of handy. And then I'll hit it with a light coat of oil after it's done. But that's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is handy because this actually smells good. So
no, I might just go clean my guns tonight before we have political unrest tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. So, on that note, you folks out there, stay safe and stay armed. Do you want to support the show? Subscribe and interact on social media. AR-15 Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. AR-15 Podcast on Facebook. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 at gmail.com if you just want to drop us a line. Find us online at firearmsradio.net. Click through our sponsors and support the people who support our show. Primary Arms, VZ Grips, Predator Armor, TacPack, and Patriot Patch Company.